Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. It is Monday. We got a packed show, guys. How we doing?
How about them Heat?
Do what you did last week.
Wait. Is it possible that the man who once took his talents to South Beach could get embarrassed by this starless team representing South Beach? Is that possible?
I want you to do what you did last week. That energy. You know the energy that you had last week.
What about?
You don't know the energy you had last week.
I don't
when
remember.
you banged on the table. You looked into your... Where you on your camera? Right there?
I remember.
You looked into it. I need you to do that one time. I told you.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, how about
We're
that?
still doing it?
Yeah.
Even with the
Yeah, they were pretty close.
They were pretty close.
Almost pulled off another miracle.
Almost, huh?
Yeah.
you know, in sports, pretty close. It just doesn't cut it.
No, it don't cut it. It don't cut it, kid.
We have so much to get to. We're going to talk LeBron. We're going to talk Tom, Cam, Aaron Rodgers. But we begin by discussing another loss for the Cowboys. They had to come from behind for the second week in a row. Dallas trailed by as many as 15 in the second half against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. But Dak put on a show through the air, passing for 472 yards and 3 touchdowns, and regained the lead with 4 minutes to go. Seattle answered with their own touchdown, giving Dak just under 2 minutes to work with. The Cowboys got just outside the red zone, but Dak ended up throwing his second interception of the game, ending Dallas's hopes. So, Shannon, did the Seahawks win this game, or did the Cowboys lose it?
Well, you know, I don't think there's any question that the Seahawks won this ball game.
Really?
Huh. And just when you thought, you're like, I mean, you saw what Peyton Manning did to start 2013. You saw what my homeboy did in, I think, 2018. And you was like, there's no way someone's going to throw for this many touchdowns this early and do what Russell Wilson is doing. And lo and behold, Russell Wilson is doing one better than what Peyton Manning did, one better than what Patrick Mahomes has done. 14 touchdowns through 3 games. He should have had another one. Skip, the game shouldn't even come down to this. DK Metcalf pulled a Deshaun Jackson. He's celebrating prematurely. They punch the ball out. It goes out of the end zone. They don't. Not only do they not get...
Who's they? Wait, who's they?
Who?
Trevon Diggs, he can play.
Yeah.
I told you he can play. He's a ball hawk.
Oh, hold on. What did it say? The ball hawk. TJ Lockett had 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. DK Metcalf had 4 catches for $110 and a touchdown. Should have been a second touchdown. But he could really play. But okay, carry on. No problem. Hey, no problem. 27 of 38 for 315. 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. They're really playing. Skip, can you tell me the difference between last year's teams and this year's team? Besides they got a head coach that won a Super Bowl, they fall behind by double digits. Dak throws for a ton of yards. It looks good on the stat sheet, but they caught an L. Their defense is worse than what they were last year. DeMarcus Lawrence, since he signed that $100 million contract, in 19 games, 5 sacks, 0 sacks this year, 0 hits on the quarterback. That's factual. So
Aldon Smith, did you notice yesterday? He was dominating.
Wow.
He was destroying Seattle's offense.
Really?
Yeah, that's the game I saw. I don't know. Maybe I missed.
So the question is, did they win it or did they lose it?
Yep.
Seattle won this ball game, Skip. Russ has been spectacular. And now you can see why every betting house has Russell Wilson as the favorite to win MVP over Mahomes, over Lamar Jackson, because of what he's doing. But there's a guy that's out there in the Midwest in Green Bay. He said, hold on now, Russ. I ain't gonna let you get too far here. We're gonna talk about him a little later. Skip, look. At some point in time, you're gonna have to see the writing on the wall. Dak plays unbelievable when there's little to no expectations. You fall down by 16, you fall down by 15, you're expected to lose the game. Why can't he give you this when the ball game is nip and tuck? Why can't he give you that when it hangs in the balance? Because instead of, he could have went and got a touchdown. What did they settle for? A field goal. Russell Wilson said, I don't need no field goal. I'm gonna go get, not only am I gonna go get your touchdown, I'm gonna go get your 2-point conversion. Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks won this ball game. Skip. Dak threw 2 interceptions. The guy's on his butt. The ball hits him in his chest. He's got a 3rd interception. It pops up. Michael Gallup catches it and takes off running down the field. And that's what I said to myself. God dog it, Cowboys, it's the Cowboys' day. And lo and behold, Russell Wilson said, no, it's not. He says, I'm not Matty Ice. After we saw what they did again yesterday. He says, that's not me. Y'all know who I am. I'm the comeback king. Skip, did you realize that since Russell Wilson, since 2016, because I needed to give it context, and I love providing context for people. Russell Wilson, since 2016, the very year that Dak Prescott got into the NFL, Russell Wilson has been sacked 192 times, 36 more than Matt Ryan. And in that same process, he has more game-winning drives than any other quarterback. So this notion that Dak Prescott is not getting protected when Russell Wilson has been sacked 36 more times than Matt Ryan, who's been sacked more times than Dak Prescott, is no excuse. At some point in time, Skip, all I know is this. What you bargained for, what you said, everybody, oh, the Cowboys are going to do this, the Cowboys are going to do that. The Cowboys actually look worse this year than they did last year because defensively, Skip, they are worse. They are worse than what they were last year. And the guy keeps falling behind by double digits. Seattle won it. Cowboys ain't lose nothing, but they're going to lose a lot more. Let's go shake and bake.
Who's shaking bake?
You know who shake and bake is.
Oh, now you're on the...
No, Browns, the Browns, baby, Browns.
Okay, I'll give you the points right now, and I'll take Dallas. Whatever I don't even know what the points are. 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't care. I'll take Dallas next Sunday at home. Okay, my turn.
Miles Garrett gonna help Fields there though.
I'll give you the points right.
Let me think about it, Skip. It's early.
Okay, it's getting late for my Cowboys.
Already, it's 3 games in.
My Dallas Cowboys lost that game far more than Seattle won that game. Let's look at the most key stat of this whole game yesterday.
Yeah, let's please.
Guess how many times Russell Wilson was forced at home to punt by my defense? Guess how many times?
How many times you punt?
7 times. That's got to be some kind of record for up there at Seattle. You just can't stop them. You say my defense is leaky, it's porous, it's a disaster, it's worse than last year. I saw stretches yesterday when it was far better than it ever thought about being last year. I like the new playmakers. I love Trevon Diggs. He is a ball player. He will go out and ball. He will get his hands on footballs in ways that Byron Jones never dreamed in his fondest dreams of getting hands on footballs. I like little Jordan Lewis just running around. He gets his hands, he'll foul people, he'll get pass interference, but he gets in the middle of things and causes disruption. And Aldon Smith is a godsend. I thought he ran out of gas a little bit in the fourth quarter, which is predictable because he hasn't played in 5 years and there was no preseason. But I liked in stretches. In fact, I loved what I saw from my defense. But I did not consistently love what I saw from my quarterback and my offense because you cannot go up there and cough it up the way Dak Prescott did. And if we could just see those plays just very quickly, because the first one, I looked the other way because he hadn't thrown an interception in 292 attempts. So you can't crush him for this, but you can't do this at Seattle. He gave Russell Wilson short fields twice. This is going to be a short field. Look where he's going down to. He's going all the way down to the 33-yard line, and Russell's going to take that home. Okay, it's just a little late and a little behind. Okay, and I said, okay, but 292 attempts without an interception.
That's pretty good.
Here's the first play of the second half. You can't do this. You can't double pump and hold the ball in the pocket like he did 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You just can't do it, and they come up with, you want to talk about a short field. This is like a gimme touchdown, right? And then there's the one you just talked about. That should have been another short field touchdown. And I'm sorry, Dak, you can't do that. You can't. That was maybe another miracle up in Seattle. I thought it was starting to happen.
That's exactly what I thought.
And it actually came down to the last play on which he nearly fell.
How did he get out of that?
I don't know. It was a miracle. It was a miracle. I thought it's Atlanta all over. I was ready to hit send on it's a miracle. And what happened? He couldn't get a hold of the football here. He couldn't get a grip on it, and he threw a flutter ball to nobody, and obviously some third-string cornerback intercepted it because Seattle was down to its third-string cornerback, and obviously Jamal Adams got hurt late in the first half, and he was cheerleading the whole second half from the sideline.
Yes.
So you got to be better. And yet, all that, you had 10 more penalties. You can't have 10 penalties. I'm starting to wonder about this new coach. I don't know.
Well, Skip, they had 4 holding calls on one drive.
You can't do it if you're going to win up there.
Yes.
Because overall, You do great things. Overall on offense, you're 7 of 15 on third down. That'll work. You're 2 of 2 on fourth down. That'll really work. You pile up 522 yards
80 plays.
to Russell Wilson's 412. Well, it's good enough. You see the firepower. You say, wait a second, that's good enough to win the game. But then let's get back to my defense. They gave up 3 plays that were inexplicable breakdowns of the defense. And the first one was to Lockett. And listen, you know Lockett, I consider him as dangerous a deep threat as there is in football, right? Tyler Lockett. And he gets loose for 43 yards and nobody's home. And I'm saying, I don't know. How can you let him get loose for this? Because there's nobody home. Wait a second. Safeties. Safe is the wrong word. They shouldn't be called safeties because they're unsafe.
Look at this.
And then here's another one. That's the one. But it should have been a touchdown, and he's wide open. And then we get another bombs away across the field to Metcalf. This is the one that broke the game. This is the winning score. And again, it was kind of covered late by the weak side, the backside safety. But there are too many breakdowns, which brings me to my point. I believe this game was lost by the Cowboys about 3 weeks ago. How many times have I beaten the table over here, Jerry? You have to go get Earl Thomas. You have to. I get the baggage. It's bad sign upon bad sign upon bad sign that Pete Carroll and John Harbaugh both said enough. We have the litany of all the abuses, all the rule breaking, all the violations that this man imposed upon the Seahawks and then on the Ravens, 2 really good football teams who said no to Earl Thomas. But Shannon, he grew up in Texas. He went to the University of Texas. He's a lifelong Cowboy fan. We remember back in 2017, he ran all the way up the tunnel after Jason Garrett. Come get me. He wants to play for this team. I'm sure he would love to end his career for this team, but it's getting too late because yesterday was back in his old stomping grounds.
The question is, Jerry's probably thinking, well, if he has a falling out, he has a disagreement with one of the coaches or players in this locker room, is he going to run up behind Ron Rivera and say, come get me?
You could be right. It's just worth a shot because of what we saw yesterday. The 2 safeties are nice kids. They're just good kids. We had Xavier Woods on the show. He's a great kid. But he and Darian Thompson, they're just guys to me. They're fine. That you can make do with them. But when you're making do, you're going to lose.
But, Skip, if you look at that last touchdown from Metcalf, and I know they didn't show it, but if you were to look at it and look where he came from, he was on the far left.
I got it.
And he came all the way across the field. That's not on your safeties. That's on your front 4. That's on Everson Griffin. That's on D. Law. That's on Tristan Hill. That's on Dontari Poe. That's on Woods. That's on Crawford. That's on those guys, Skip.
You didn't name Alden Smith.
Alden Smith.
Okay.
So, Skip, I mean, because he's starting on one side, he's coming clearly across the field. I'm like, when Russ threw the ball, Skip, because I was like, Russ, where are you throwing the ball? And then I'm like, and I think what's so frustrating for you is that it's just not that they're open, it's by how far they're open. This isn't college. You're not supposed to be open by 8-9 yards in NFL. These are
breakdowns. These are blunders, strategic blunders where you just lost sight of somebody. And in this league, if you lose sight, there's such big errors. Okay, so your quarterback has 2 huge errors, and then I failed to even mention that your kick returner,
Bobble did the one.
Pollard, he fumbles it on the goal line, and they get it at the 1, and then Zeke slips down, and it's a safety. Okay, it's 2 more points, and it's a psychological blunder. It hurts the momentum of your football team. They botched an extra point, and they blew again. They go for 2 fairly early in the 4th quarter to tie, and I don't like the play calls. They wind up throwing it to Noah Brown, and I'm thinking, why is he even in the game? I don't know what happened, because all of a sudden, out of nowhere yesterday, Noah Brown played 29 plays, and by the way, I'm pretty sure he was the target of the miracle pass at the end. 85's in the back of the end zone.
At that point in time, Skip, you just tried to get it to the end zone and hope for a miracle.
I got it, but he was in, and CD wasn't in on the last play. If you could, coaches, could you explain that one to me? I don't get it.
Well, there was a lot of plays that Amari was missing, Skip.
He was missing a bunch of plays.
And then I see him come in, and he comes back in, and he's blocks on the screen. So I'm saying, hold on, wait a minute. If you're too injured to run pass routes, how the hell are you not going to be too injured to block on the screen?
How many times on the road last year did we see him ask out?
Something's not adding up.
is
Skip.
wrong.
Yes, it
he
is.
makes $20 million.
It's not adding up.
To come up big on the road,
Yeah.
and he's not coming up big enough on the road.
And thus far, Skip, he's probably been their third or fourth best receiver.
I agree.
Cedric Wilson has been better than he has.
Yeah.
Michael Gallup has clearly been better than he has.
Yeah.
And CD. So right now, he's the fourth receiver. Fourth receiver for $20 million. Something's not right, Skip.
Cedric Wilson played 24 snaps yesterday.
Yes.
That's a lot, and I didn't see it coming.
I didn't
but he
either.
came up big, man. He made 2 big catches.
5 for $107 and 2 touchdowns. Skip, I'm like, who the hell is this kid?
I agree. The last time I saw him was at Chicago on that Thursday night, and it was late in the game. So I'm starting to wonder, coaches, do you have them ready? Do you have them right? Do you have them prepared? So what happened? I almost you chuckle at this, but when Dak lost the football on the first play of the second half,
Right.
and suddenly they fall behind quickly, what was it, 30 to 15? Yeah, 30 to 15. My first thought was, well, Dak's got him right where he wants him because now he can actually play football, right?
Right.
So what did he do after that in the second half? He goes 24 of 35 for 291. He almost threw for 300 yards in the second half. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Or it's
And a fumble.
Yeah, and a fumble. Okay, so have we seen that movie before? He led the NFL in second half passing yards last year by a landslide.
Right.
Because he's at his greatest when it's hopeless, right? In the first half, he threw for 181, which is pretty good, but it wasn't 291 in the second half. And by the way, just for the record this time, he did bring them all the way back to ahead.
Yeah.
They got the lead. And so I'm saying, okay, if you can do that and you go ahead 31-30 with 3:59 left, that's a pretty great second half. So I'll buy into that. But now it's back to the defense. Can you stop them? Well,
No.
obviously, I sat back in my chair and I just said, this is over. Russell Wilson's, that's way too much time.
Skip, and if you really look at it, if you really analyze the game and watch the way Russell had played up until that game, Russell didn't play one of his better games. He's got guys wide open for first downs and he's throwing it at their feet.
There were many times when he did not look like Russell Wilson.
And I'm
agree.
So I'm thinking, man, Russ, you could literally hang 50 on this team.
You could.
And he was a little off, and he still threw for 5 touchdowns. Rich really should have been 6, had DK Metcalf not. Skip, at what point in time are you going to say, you know what, let me get the ball in the end zone? Skip, I mean, what did he thought? Diggs didn't fall down. You just beat him. So by you slowing down, Diggs is still running. Skip, that's the Alabama mentality. He's not going to quit on the play. You know Coach Saban wouldn't allow him to quit on the play, so that's his mentality.
I agree.
And he punches the ball out, and now instead of getting 3 points, a touchdown, you don't even get 3 because now Dallas gets the ball at the 20 going back the other way.
What about DK Metcalf never does that again in his career?
I bet he does. But
he seems like a good kid to me. He seems like he wants to learn how to...
Russell went immediately to him and put his arms and said, hey, bro, don't worry about it. We'll get it back. We'll get it back. And he got it back.
Okay. So in the big picture, it still comes down to one defensive play. And this is the play of the game. And it's 4th and 3 at the Dallas 47 in that last-ditch drive by Russell.
Yeah.
Well, if you make one more play on defense...
It's probably going to be over.
It's probably going to be over.
Right.
And he hit our man Greg Olsen over the middle. He was pretty open for 11 yards. We could see this. And this is the ball game right here. Okay, I'm back to... I'm going to harp on this because I first guessed it. I've been campaigning for this. Again... If you have Earl Thomas back there, maybe he gets in the middle of that. He might.
But
you
Skip,
never know.
Skip,
you never know.
But if you look at it, you got 3 guys covering 2. Where's the middle linebacker going?
Know.
Why would you vacate that? Look at this, Skip.
Yeah,
where's he going? That's his play. If he stays right there, if Russell throws it, he's going to hit him dead in his chest.
Bolted to the
Yes,
left.
he's going to a flat when he got a flat defender.
I don't know where he's going. It is...
Thomas. I think his last name, but I think Thomas, 48.
Yep. I don't know.
Where you, bruh?
Don't know. Everybody came over here, and Trevon Diggs was on the split receiver.
Right.
So nobody's home. And the safety didn't come up fast enough to get involved in the play. And that's the football
Somebody
game.
blew it because it looks like they're playing man at the top, and it looks like Thomas is playing man, and somebody down here at the bottom is playing zone. So somebody absolutely blew that coverage.
Another breakdown. So what do we see in the biggest picture here? Was my team lucky to win last week?
Absolutely. You should be 0-3.
Okay. But I can also make a case, if you give me that luck, We got a horrendous call at Rams to start with. We could have won that game. And I still think we should have won yesterday. If you eliminate the mistakes, you win that game. I thought Dallas proved over the expanse of the game, they looked to be the better team than Seattle. Now, Seattle's just beat all to hell on defense.
Yeah.
Well, look at the yards. I mean, you put up 522 on the road.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. If you look at Seattle's defense, they're giving up about 500 yards a game.
Okay.
It's because of Russell. Has been so exemplary in the first 3 games. This is the only reason. I don't believe any other quarterback could possibly do what he's doing right now, Skip.
Yep.
He's been unbelievable. He's been unbelievable. Skip, did you know Zeke had 12 targets yesterday? In the past game, 12 targets.
Okay. And Zeke was kind of out of it yesterday. He has 14 carries for 34 yards, and he did not look like that bell cow you say he needs to be. They're a passing football team.
Oh, no, they're passing.
They do.
No. You're a fall behind football team, Skip Bayless. When there are expectations, what did Dak Prescott do? Zilch. Nothing. Okay. Nada. Now you get behind. There's no expectations. Nobody expecting anything out of you. You can deliver.
Okay, so now I've been on the hot seat for all this show. I'm switching the hot seat over there.
What?
I'm hitting the button over here. Your seat's starting to get warm over
What?
there, just like your car can get warm.
Okay, what happened?
There's this team in Philly that used to be called the Eagles.
Ah, baby.
They've turned into the Beagles.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening. Your quarterback is W-I-N-C-E.
Yeah,
Ouch.
he had look good.
He does not look good.
Right.
And they have now failed to win 3 games because they're 0-2-1 because they got tied by the Bungles yesterday with a rookie quarterback at Philadelphia. They got tied.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, my team is still in first place in the NFC East, and I still love my team to win the NFC East.
Skip, it's a trash division. Can we admit that?
But they still get a playoff berth.
Yes.
Because if you win it, you're in, unless the commissioner rules against the NFC East and says no playoff team from the East this year.
Who said y'all gonna win it?
Oh, we got this.
Who said who? I don't know who said who bestowed you kings.
Okay, so we got the Browns at home.
Okay.
Then we got the Giants at home. Then we got Arizona at home, which will be dicey, but Kyler had a rough afternoon in his house.
Oh, Kyle, I trust Kyle.
Okay, well, that's 3 in a row.
That's 2 or 3. You're losing 2 or 3 of those.
You go to Washington, and then you go to Philadelphia. Well, what if they just get on a roll and win the next 5 games?
Ain't happening. Ain't happening. Ain't happening.
I don't like it. It has a good ring to it.
It's not happening.
Yep, we got all the junk out of our
Shake and bake. Shake and bake with Chubb and Kareem Hunt, Odell, Jarvis.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll give you the points right now.
How many points is it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
6-point favorite. Guys.
Okay.
The Cowboys. The Cowboys are 6-point favorites.
I got it.
6?
Good, I take it.
Okay, done.
You're
I got it.
Thank you.
Got it.
It's only Monday.
I saw him
real
coming.
good.
Saw him coming. I knew you do. I knew you fall for it every time.
Points.
I know, but I do. If I just pretend like I didn't really want it, knowing that I'm gonna take it all alone, you keep egging me on.
That's why I'm 43 cases up.
Yeah, I thought you'd learned something by now.
I'm about to get it back to the NBA Finals. I'm about to get a case back. I'm getting 3 cases at a time back.
Prohibitive favorite. Let's talk about it.
How about the Lakers? Shannon, do you have the GOAT mask ready, or are we just?
No, I'm saving it. I'm saving it.
No mercy.
The Lakers handled business and closed out their series against the Nuggets on Saturday to advance to the finals for the first time since 2010. LeBron made sure the series wouldn't be going 6 games by putting up a 38-point triple-double. The Heat, who closed out the Celtics last night, are now all that stand in the way of LeBron winning his first title as a Laker. So, Shannon, how much of a shot do you give the Heat against the Lakers?
Before I start the chances that I give the Heat, I'll be very remiss if I didn't say, we know the Clippers choked, right? Clippers choked, right?
Is that all you got?
No, I just want to make sure we get that. Because I want to do like you do. Because every time the Lakers win, you want to talk about the Clippers would be up this many on the Lakers.
Well, obviously, the Clippers would have beaten the Lakers. I'm glad you brought that up.
Obviously.
Thank you.
We'll never know.
Well, we all know. I think you knew deep down going in. I know the King knew. He knew what was coming.
The King.
He got the biggest break of his career.
The King is where he's supposed to be. Skip, 22 in the second half, 16 in the fourth quarter. Now, Skip Bayless says he wants to see LeBron James. I want to see him close. I don't want to see him front run. He says, okay, you want to see me close? His last 6 shots, was unassisted. He got the ball, get out of my way. AD says, hey, LeBron told him, okay, I'm going to bring it home. Now, Chris Haynes reported that LeBron James told him the night before, I'm into this bleep. After the game, he walks by Chris Haynes, slaps his hand. What did I tell you?
Chris sent me that before the show. He must have sent it to you.
Hey, no, don't worry about it.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that.
I may or may not have spoken with the GOAT. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're talking about, Skip. I'm talking about that virtuoso.
I'm in this tonight.
Tonight. Hold on. That ain't no killer instinct. Michael Jordan would have never said something like that, would he? Kobe Bryant would have never said something like that, would he? So in other words, LeBron James...
the Nuggets?
Nice again.
The Nuggets, you got them down 3-1?
Whoa! I know another team that had them down 3-1. Yeah, guess what? Kawhi Town. Guess where Kawhi Town is, people? Cancun. But anyway, we're going to get back to that in a minute, Skip.
You know, there's this old saying about he who laughs last laughs best.
You can't laugh at all. Because every step of the way, he beat the 8th seed, the best 8th seed in the history of the game.
The worst defensive team in the bubble?
He beat the great...
35-39 Portland?
There are a lot of people that played the game
Without
of basketball
Dame
and got, I don't know what color. What color jackets they get? They get red jackets, I think, for the, in Springfield. They go into Springfield. That said James Harden is the greatest offensive machine that we've seen. And that included Michael Jordan. But I want to play some video. There's something that was said opening night. Opening night. DJ, can we drop that track right quick?
What really surprised me, and I don't know how to put this, I think the only guy in the world who could actually do it did it tonight. Kawhi Leonard made LeBron James not look athletic. There's not many guys that can contain him in key moments the way he did.
On opening night, LeBron James scored 2 points in the fourth quarter, and Anthony Davis went goose egg in the fourth quarter.
So I want to know.
So what Kenny Smith said, the great Kenny Smith, was dead on accurate at that moment. That's what he saw. That's what he said.
So
There you go, Kenny.
How does a man go in a year's time from being unathletic to dropping 38, 16, and 10? One of the 3 times a triple-double has been performed in a closeout game. How does he do that?
Because he's playing against Jokic.
Hold on.
Who defends nobody.
Think about this here, Skip Bayless. In the very same situation, your guy had 4 closeout games. What did your guy do in the fourth quarter? You remember he was 1 for 7, 1 for 11 in the second half. Did he look unathletic trying to guard Jamal Murray? My guy put the clamps on Jamal Murray.
In 3 closeout games, the first 2, Kawhi was spectacular.
No, he wasn't. No, he was not.
Go look up the numbers.
No.
He had 9, and he had, what was the other one? I think 9 and 8.
I looked up the numbers.
Yeah.
Hell. That's the number that I look at. All that other stuff you keep on. That's what you tell me.
Now you're trying to revise history.
No.
So you're spending a lot of time looking back at the Clippers instead of looking ahead to that team and that.
So I just want to know one thing. Since Jimmy Butler got the Heat to the NBA Finals, are we saying he's the equivalent of Kawhi? Because y'all heap so much praise on Kawhi for getting Toronto Raptors. He got him to the finals. So is that the Eastern Conference still? I just need to know. I just need to know because you used that against LeBron James.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I just want to say one thing. I think it's the series. They're a very well-coached team. They will be where they're supposed to be. None of those guys seems to be in awe of the moment. I listened to Bam, and when they lost, Bam says, put that on me. No, it ain't nobody. It's nobody else's fault. It's mine. And he came out and did something that I didn't think he had in him. He went to work on everybody. They had no answer for it.
Yep.
Lakers in 6.
You're already out there? You're giving the Heat 2 games?
Giving them. They're in the NBA Finals.
They're hopeless underdogs.
It doesn't matter. Hey, I tell you what, ask Giannis about being hopeless underdogs. Ask the Boston Celtics about being hopeless underdogs. There are 2 teams at home that were favorite. But I tell you what, LeBron James won't make that mistake. He will not underestimate this team.
So before I get to what I want to say about what Jenny asked us to talk about, I have to comment on what you said about LeBron closed.
Did he? Did he?
I saw a different game. I don't know.
What game did you see?
Okay, I saw a game in which I got to get a new TV. Or
okay,
maybe I
please do.
LASIK. I don't know. But with 10:03 left in the game, LeBron actually, on a feed from Danny Green, had a right-handed layup off the glass, and he made that. They were up 2 at that point, so that made them up 4.
Okay.
So I'll give you that one. It's kind of quasi-tight at that point.
Okay.
The next time he made a little jump shot, they were already up 4 at that point with 9:33 left.
Who put 'em up?
I'm talking now. The Lakers are up 4, okay? Lakers are up 4.
Yeah.
The next time he makes a jump shot, they're up 5. The next time he makes another jump shot, they're up 7 with 3:40 to go. Then the next jumper, a 10-footer, they're up 8 with 3:05 to go. And the next one, a 19-foot jumper, they're up 9 with 2:33. And finally, the crescendo. He finally makes a three-pointer with 1:57 left to put them up 12, and he has the audacity to mean mug off this shot. He makes his 3, and he runs, it's timeout, and he goes back to the bench, and he is mean mugging the Denver Nuggets up 12.
Skip.
Stop it. Just stop it. But do something against somebody who matters.
Skip.
Then you put them up 12. Every jumper he made, and by the way, he tied for the most jump shots he's ever made in the fourth quarter of any game since the stat was kept. I don't know, it goes back to like 07.
Okay.
So I give him that. He had a hot hand. We see him rarely. He gets a hot hand, and he rode it all the way home. But the game wasn't a seesaw affair.
Yeah.
It wasn't back and forth. He wasn't in a shootout with Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's dragging around an injured leg the whole
We don't do that.
quarter.
We don't do that here. But so Skip. Hey,
What are you talking about? He closed?
Skip, let me say
He
this.
front ran.
Skip,
He front ran all the way home.
Okay, fine. But what you won't tell people is that when they went up 4, they went up 6, they went up 7, they went up 9, they went up 12, he did it!
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He scored all their points.
They were already up.
He scored all their points.
I just told you what they were.
He scored them all. He put them up 4. He put them up 6. He put them up 7. He put them up 8, 9, 12.
No, you got it backwards. I don't have to read the whole list again. They were already up 4 when he made his first jump shot.
Skip, no, he didn't.
They were already up 5 when he made his first.
He made the 2. He made the layup to put them up 4.
Okay, so what? That was 10 minutes ago. It's a layup. Is that a clutch shot?
Okay, and then
Stop it.
Hold on, but Skip, but you listed all those things that he did and nobody else did. Nobody didn't assist him on those shots. He did that.
Okay, they're up 7 and he makes a 22.
Who put him up 7?
I don't know.
You do know.
Oh, Danny Green had just made a huge 3. I think that put him up. No, it did. It was Danny Green. Go look it up. 4:20 to go. Yeah, you're laughing because I got you dead to rights.
I got 38, 16, and 10.
It's all front running.
38, 16, and 10, and 16 in the 4.
Were those clutch moments? Was the game tied?
You said you wanted to see him score.
Were they down 2 when he made those jump shots?
22 points in the second half, 16 in the 4.
Lord have mercy. You're up 4 on the first jump shot you make. You may go up 6, up 5, up 7, up 8, up 9, and you made jumpers off those leads.
Yeah.
It's just pure front running. It's classic vintage LeBron James. Put him in a close game.
Skip.
Put him in one where it's time.
Skip.
See what happens.
Hold on,
I've
Skip.
seen this movie too many times.
Your guy had a 16, a 9, and a 12-point lead. That's the time for him to front run, and he gagged it. Kawhi gagged it. Up 16, 19, 12. Win one, and you go on.
He's out. He's at home, and he doesn't count.
And guess what?
But
His
guess
trainer's
what?
still talking. His trainer's still bumping his gums.
You know what? This is on paper. This is a mismatch. There's no way I can.
Games ain't played like that, though.
It's a cakewalk for LeBron James. But I will say this: most wins in clutch situations through the whole playoffs. Miami's number 1 by far. They were plus 46 in clutch time in the playoffs. Last night they had the biggest clutch time spread of any game in any in the whole playoff series against Boston, in any playoff series in 18 years in clutch time. Last 5 minutes, 5 or fewer points on the scoreboard. They were the best against Boston that any team has been in 18 years. They scored the most clutch time points. They were the second most threes and the second most free throws in clutch time. So this is what you're up against. That they don't have LeBron James. They don't have Anthony Davis. Those are by far the 2 best players on the floor. But they do have a coaching staff and a management staff that knows LeBron inside and out.
Right.
He was coached by Spo, and he was overseen by Pat Riley from upstairs on high.
Yeah.
Nobody knows LeBron's strengths and weaknesses the way this coaching staff does. And remember, it ended bitterly with Pat Riley.
Yes.
And Pat Riley, about 3 years after LeBron had gone, he looked back on that situation and said, we had some people with smiling faces with hidden agendas, which was the ultimate shot at your guy who left them high and dry and went home to Cleveland.
Hold on. I know Pat Riley wasn't running his damn mouth when he resigned from the New York Knicks via fax. Is that, hold on. Please tell me that's not that Pat Riley.
That one.
Hold on. I want fans. I want people at home because I know a lot of you guys are too young to remember this. This man, Pat Riley, talk about smiling faces with hidden agendas, resigned from the New York Knicks via fax and went and took a job with the Miami Heat and Mickey Harrison. That guy. Man, I wish I might. And guess what? Just like you know LeBron James, he knows Spo. He knows his strengths and weaknesses also.
Sure he does.
Don't make it a one-sided street. But you won't do this because, see, I see what you do. If LeBron wins, it was a cakewalk. It deserves an asterisk.
It should
if
be a
he
cakewalk.
loses, he gags. So he's in an unobtainable situation.
They're prohibitive favorites. Vegas is just saying, give me a break.
And I know a lot of people, and I see a lot of them that got jackets and doing a lot of talking right now. They don't want LeBron to win because, see, that's what they can do. He only got 3 rings if he was so great. So now if he gets a 4th ring with a 3rd team and win Finals MVP, the mouths going to shut. Those mouths are going to shut. Woo! It's here, baby. The destiny is manifested itself.
The Heat are hopeless underdogs.
I don't care nothing about that.
You drew the Heat. Can you believe you get to play the Heat for the championship?
So I just want to make sure I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Where's Milwaukee? Where's Philadelphia?
Yeah, where's Milwaukee?
Where's Boston?
Yeah, where's Milwaukee? Where's Milwaukee?
I don't know.
You do know because that's the team the Heat beat in 5.
You were the one who told me the Celtics will dominate this team, right?
I did not say
That's
this.
what you said.
Skip, I did not say that.
You picked the Celtics.
I picked the Celtics in 7. Yes.
In 7? I don't remember that. I remember 6.
No. I didn't say to dominate. Skip, they beat the #1 seed. They're very well coached. They're very disciplined. They got what, 6 guys in double figure. Iggy turned back the hands of time. 4 threes, had no misses. 4 made threes. 5 was 5 of 5 from the floor. They're very good for a basketball team. But no.
They have a superstar?
It doesn't matter.
They don't have one.
Hold on. Guess what? It does. So that's what you need.
Well,
that's what you need.
You win in basketball. Stars. Stars win basketball.
So let me ask you a question. So Jimmy Butler now he's on the level of LeBron because that's what y'all did with Kawhi. That's what they did with Kawhi.
I did a top 30 a couple of weeks ago on the show. I forgot to even put Jimmy Butler in the top 30 because he truly doesn't belong.
I want to know all them. Skip, I want to know all them general managers now.
Yeah.
All those ones that didn't have LeBron in the top. Where would they have LeBron ranked right now? Take the poll right now. It's easy. The man was down. He got a groin. He stepped off a cliff. He's not the same guy. He has been. Yes, he is. He's injured. Hold on. Now, you just use injury for Jamal Murray. Now, LeBron is injured with a groin. Oh, he wasn't injured. He just showed you. Averaged 27, 10, and 9. Can I interest you that? He's averaging 26, 10, and 8, 9. For the playoffs, washed up.
Well, he should thank his lucky stars for Anthony Davis, wouldn't you say?
Hold on. The guy that ain't got no dog.
AD last year, and he went 28 and 27.
Hold on. What AD, the guy that, hold on. How many times we've heard guys that sit across desk that got gold jackets and NBA titles that say he ain't that dog? Oh, now he got Anthony Davis. Why would he want a guy that ain't that dog? Where are the miles at now?
What is he, like 30, 15, and 10?
Yeah. Wait, ain't nobody got nothing to say now.
Somebody's gloating.
Ain't nobody gloating.
Yeah.
No. Skip.
You know what? You're right. It would be shameful if LeBron lost to the Miami Heat.
And I'm hearing people talking
about
it should have an asterisk about for what? You didn't put one by Tim Duncan. You didn't put one by LeBron when they had a strike-shortened season. An asterisk belongs by something. If somebody did something nobody else had means to do. They stripped Lance Armstrong from those titles or put an asterisk because he performance-enhancing drugs. Well, if everybody else got a break, so how did LeBron get an asterisk and somebody else win the title? It wouldn't be.
Who's at the end of year 17?
I can't tell. I think he had the end of year 7.
That's why he got the biggest break of all. It's the COVID championship. It'll have a big asterisk on the ring. It's okay.
And like you
can have a littler ring.
And like you tell me all the time, it's the jealousy that he can play so well in year 17. Because remember, that's what you said about Tom Brady. It's the old guard that's so jealous of Tom that he's playing in his 20th season, now 21st. It's because we've never ever in the history of the NBA see a guy do that.
I agree.
In year 17.
I agree.
And it's burning people up.
Which is why they should sweep the Heat.
Oh,
come on. They should sweep
and guess what, Skip?
This should be a mismatch.
He ain't slowing down. He ain't no way tired.
Yeah.
There's a song that we sang in our church that says, Lord, I've come a long ways and I'm no ways tired. He's come a long ways, Skip, and he's no ways tired.
Really?
Yes.
Give
down the virtuoso.
I figure he'll walk in to Chris Haynes before game 1 and say, I'm going to end this SH tonight.
Skip.
Right?
Skip, I want you to say it with me, Skip.
It could be over in one game.
Skip.
The finals could be over in one game.
Just give me this.
He might just say, we're not worthy.
Skip, give me this. That was a virtuoso on Saturday night.
A virtuoso? What did he do in the fourth quarter? Was the game ever tight?
He made it untight.
Oh.
Skip, he went on that scoring run by himself. Skip, how you get 16 rebounds? 16 rebounds. Trip Dub, 36.
Yeah. I wish he had a worthy opponent.
So now the Nuggets not worthy.
Yep.
They did something no other team had ever done in NBA history. Come back from 3-1 down twice in the very same playoff, but they're not worthy. They beat the team that everybody, for the most part, 70% of the people and the betting public picked the Clippers. But they beat them, and now they're not worthy.
In 3 closeout games, the Clippers were up 16, 19, and 12.
It says
that's the Nuggets. That puts them in a capsule for you, and just don't forget it. The Clippers should have closed them out in 5. You know it, and I know it.
You know what? When you didn't close them out in 5 and they got 3-2, guess what happened? It started shrinking, and we got 3-3. And then your guy gagged it. Your guy gagged it. He choked 1 for 7, 1 for 11 in the second half. That's fact. That's not conjecture. That's not speculation. That's not innuendo. That's fact. Like you tell me, look it up.
Well, do look it up. Go look at the fourth quarters of games 5 and 6 and tell me what you see from Kawhi Leonard.
He's shooting, Skip, only twice in the series did he shoot 50% or better from the floor. You told me he was efficient. That's what you told me. He the new light bulb, the effervescence, the efficient.
He led his team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks.
He led them to Cancun. That's what he led them. He led them to Cancun.
Interesting.
He led them to Cancun.
Is that all you got? So you're going to prematurely gloat? So I'd say the Heat series is done.
No, I'm not talking. No.
I need you to pick a sweep right now. Pick a sweep. No. I dare you.
They got nothing to do with
I dare you.
I'm talking about Kawhi. With the keychain, he detonated. Remember, you bang it on the table. I'm like, Skip, you're going to break the table. He detonated.
Well, this is the first time in the history of this show that you've had anything to gloat about, and I'll give it to you.
You're feeling
You can gloat because there's still 4 more games.
Yeah.
You're going to win all 4. It's okay.
See, there you go.
No, that's what you're saying.
No.
You're not going to go sweep those, Shannon?
Come on, go sweep.
Hey, Jenny.
Go sweep.
Are you good over there, Shannon?
They got me over here sweating like a Pentecostal mental in a revival.
You are heating up. You got quotes. We got everything going on today. Are you okay, Shannon?
I'm good, Jenny. I'm feeling good
We
today.
can't even go to break yet because I actually want to talk about the Patriots and everything that Cam Newton has been doing. So Cam and the Patriots do continue to look good running the ball through 3 weeks. New England put up 250 yards on the ground in a win against the Raiders yesterday. Cam finished with 162 yards through the air with a touchdown and an interception to go along with 27 rushing yards. Shannon, can you give Cam a letter grade for me, please?
Skip, I'm gonna give him a B. Because I thought the one thing that he did do, what he can't do, is because they don't have the firepower to really overcome mistakes. I thought that interception was a bad interception. Sometimes, Skip, you just chalk it up. Say, you know what? They got us here. Let me just throw the ball away. We punt it. Let's not give them a short field. Let's not put our defense in harm's way. Let's just live to see another day and move on. But to Coach Belichick's credit, and the Coach Belichick has always been like this, Skip. Coach Belichick really doesn't have an offense that says, okay, we're running or we're passing. What can't the defense stop on a given day? Seattle could not contain, the ball through the air. So Cam, throw it 44-plus times, almost 400 yards. What couldn't the Vegas Raiders do, Skip? They couldn't stop the run. So, hey, we're going to ground you out. 250 yards on the ground. They are the greatest chameleons because sometimes, Skip, we do what we do. Skip, you know we throw the ball. We're a man blitz, a zero. Coach Belichick say, you're foolish. Now, well, see, now that I know that you're unwilling to change what you are, you give me a decided advantage of how I need to attack you because of your unwillingness to change. Coach Belichick's not like that. I thought Cam, they ran 38 rushes, 250 yards, 6.6 yards a carry. Cam wasn't asked to do a whole lot. 17 to 28, $162, 1 touchdown, and the 1 interception. I thought, like I said, he should have just lived to see another day. But Cam is doing some great things. They weren't very good on third down, Skip. They're going to have to get better. 3 for 11, 27%. They're going to have to get better. But also, I thought, Skip, the Raiders spent their wad on Monday night. Because that was not the same team on Sunday at 1 that we saw Monday night just 5 days earlier, Skip. That was not the team that we saw. But I'm going to give Cam a B. I thought he played well. I thought he's doing what they asked him to do. And it's only going to get better. I believe it's only going to get better. As we go along, Cam gets more trust, understanding of the offense. They have more trust in Cam. This thing's going to get better. Hold on, Buffalo. You're not going to run away with this thing just yet.
Really? I'm glad you brought up Buffalo.
They look good yesterday. They look good yesterday.
For most of the game.
They did. They had a little lapse.
Yes, they had a big lapse.
But you, Skip, that has a lot to do with the crowd because we're seeing comebacks, Skip, with no crowd, and now teams can hear. You don't have to get no procedure calls and things of that nature. So they're coming back. We saw Atlanta gag one again. They almost gave up one again. Seattle gave up a big lead. So we're starting to see something here.
Buffalo is legit. And I
quarterback.
stand by what I said before the year started. I nearly picked them to win the whole AFC, but I said they'll be my Super Bowl dark horse, and I'll stick with that.
Okay.
Just that fringe team that could shock everybody.
Right.
So far, so good.
Okay.
And at least they did rise back and shine back, and he made a good throw. They got a penalty called that I thought was a penalty. I just thought it was. If the DB, it's a backup DB, if he's going to ride the receiver up the field, you just can't keep your hands on him that long.
Exactly.
And I don't know what the Rams were bitching about after the game because it's just a call that you got to make. But it's way beyond 5
because,
yards.
Skip, for the longest time, people think, well, don't make that call in that position. Well, don't commit a foul in that position at that time of the game. He has to call it. Timing of the game doesn't determine when an official throws the flag. The offense does.
Ooh. Okay. Cam set his bar very high in week 1 and much higher even still in week 2 at Seattle. He threw for almost 400 yards.
Right.
Given how high the bar is set, given the expectations you have for this team, yesterday I got to give him a C- because it wasn't great.
Right.
It was, by his standards, pedestrian because it looked like to me, what did he rush for? He wound up running 9 times for 27 yards. That's 3 yards a carry.
Right.
There was one play where he started to break it up the middle on a scramble, and he saw some potential conflict coming, and he just said, I'm out. And he just went down at the line of scrimmage.
Smart.
Okay? I believe Coach Belichick has been in his ear. We just don't need to do that because you're not going to make it through the year.
Correct.
What happened in Carolina, you quote-unquote died for the cause.
He did.
For their cause, not your cause.
Right.
And in the end, you took way too much punishment, and it's not worth it. It's not going to get you home. It's not going to get you where we need for you to take us.
Correct.
Okay? So he's not going to do what he did in game 1 in week 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Correct.
Okay. So his QBR throwing the football, it also includes running, but mostly throwing, was 27. That was the 3rd worst QBR of the whole weekend. Okay? What happened was, to your point, the Raiders just looked tired to me from the start because they had to fly across country after a big emotional home win in a short week, and they didn't look ready to play.
That 10 a.m. wake up. That 10 a.m. clock.
It's 10 a.m. And the Patriots shocked me because they ran wild on them. They ran for 250 yards. So Cam was only the team, and obviously Cam was 3 of 11 on third, as you point out. And it didn't matter because everybody, every carry is getting loose. Sony Michel was getting loose, and especially Rex Burkhead was getting loose. And I never thought I would see the day when Rex Burkhead would take over a whole game. Because if you look at this, Rex Burkhead, he carried it 6 times for 49 yards, but guess who had the most targets? Well, this is Brady-esque, right? He threw it to Rex Burkhead 10 times. He caught 7 for 49 more yards. And remember the swing pass that he took on for a touchdown? This is vintage Rex Burkhead. This is something now. This is the Rex Burkhead I knew from Plano High School in Dallas, Texas, when he was running wild on the whole Metroplex. This is Nebraska Rex Burkhead, right? What a play that is. And I said, where did he come from?
That's normally James White play, Skip.
Yeah, it is. James, obviously, God bless him and his family.
And they say they're dedicated.
They're dedicated.
Right.
Okay, so to me, they showed you their formula. This is how they're going to do it. They're going to play defense. They're going to cover you. They don't rush the passer great, but they cover you like they might have the best back end in football.
Right.
Because it's just hard to get loose. And I knew what was going to happen to Darren Waller after his Monday night extravaganza.
Coach Belichick ain't going to let that happen.
He just said, no, you can't have him. And it took him forever just to get him 1 ball, but they threw him 4 balls, and he caught 2 for 9 yards.
Right.
And those were late in the game.
Right.
When it was out of control.
Right.
Okay, so it was like, okay, Derek Carr, you got to find somebody else.
Okay, now we're going to take Waller away. Okay, who you going to go to now? You want Zay Jones? You want Hunter Renfrow? You want Jalen Richard? You want Nelson Aguilar? You could have anybody else other than him.
Yep. And too many times Derek Carr would look and look for Waller, and now the clock's running, and somebody's going to get a hand on you.
Yes.
So it was beautiful game plan, but predictable by Coach Belichick.
Right.
But I still say this schedule only gets tougher. Now, Kansas City obviously has a huge game tonight, and then they're going to have a short week to get ready. But Cam and company then go to Kansas City next Sunday.
Right.
Then they got a breather at home against the Broncos. We're going to talk about them versus Brady in a few minutes, what's left of your Broncos. But then it goes 49ers, who are still very dangerous. Then they have to go to Buffalo, to the Jets, who look like hapless. But then they got Baltimore, at Houston, Arizona, the 2 LA teams. There's some hard games.
But Houston, Skip, I don't know about Houston. I don't know how much.
Down there?
Yeah, Bill O'Brien is. And Skip, before we go, and I know it doesn't have anything. Skip, how good a coach is Kyle Shanahan? He got 300 yards out of Nick Mullins.
It's pretty good.
I mean, you think about it.
It's a big time.
Because you remember when Jimmy Garoppolo went down, Skip?
But we've seen that from that kid before.
Yes.
No. I think he's a better passer than Jimmy G is.
I was like, whoa.
Yep. I agree.
I guess those wind sprints for the Giants ain't working, huh? Maybe they need a tougher talking to. Hey, Panhandling, I'm talking to you. You know, you jumped on Twitter, jumped on my timeline and had something snide to say. I guess you need to run more wind sprints.
Who is this?
The Giants PR guy, Panhandling.
Oh, I know Pat.
Yeah.
He used to be at the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah. He jumped on my timeline with something snide to say. Yeah, more wind sprints. Need to run a little more.
Okay. Well, fire him back.
I wouldn't want to say anything to you in terms of
I see everything.
Working out.
I see everything.
No mercy.
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers handed the Saints their 2nd straight loss last night. Rodgers connected with Allen Lazard for multiple deep throws and finished with 283 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Packers would hold on late and win 37-30. Green Bay is now 3-0 on the season. So, Shannon, did Aaron Rodgers prove his doubters wrong last night?
Skip, this is what I always tell athletes when they want to bounce back, or critics have been very outspoken about them. I say, you don't need to prove them wrong. You need to prove you right. And in the process of proving yourself right, they'll be absolutely wrong. Aaron Rodgers had the utmost confidence. Skip, the thing is with Aaron Rodgers is because he set the bar so high. It's kind of like Usain Bolt, Skip. He runs a 9.58, and then he wins his last Olympics at 9.81. People are like, man, Usain Bolt's slow. Well, when you compare it to 9.58, 9.81 is slow. When you compare Aaron Rodgers' 45 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, or 40 touchdowns with 4 picks, and you look at 26-4, but he still threw for 4,000 yards, you're like, well, yeah, Aaron Rodgers looked like he lost it. Skip, you saw the throws that this man can make. The way he can spin the ball from different platforms, rolling left, rolling right, throwing across his body, down the field. He hasn't lost it, Skip. And last night, they took Aaron Jones, we're not going to let you run wild like you did last week. Aaron Rodgers, make those throws. He's making throws. Now, remind you now, He's doing this without Devontae Adams. He's 5-0 without Devontae Adams in his career. 33 points a game. That's what he's doing. How many receivers, if you take away their best receiver, their number one, true number one? A lot of these guys, Skip, people don't realize Alan Lazard, he's an undrafted free agent. I think Scanlon also is an undrafted free agent. That's what he's doing it with. He's thrown 2 touchdowns in his career to guys that were taken in the first round. Let that sink in, Skip. I want you to let that sink in. I'm going to let this marinate. It's been on the stove for about 4 hours, cooking low, 150 degrees. You know, your brother Rick asked Rick about it. I don't know if he cooked barbecue, but we like to put that thing on, we marinate it, put it in there, let it cook slow for long periods of time. So this has been brewing for about 15,
We grew up in a barbecue restaurant.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about then. So we just saying slow. 2 touchdowns to guys that were selected in the first round. So he's doing that. Skip, it's Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers. 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns with 4 interceptions, a 13-3 record, the number 2 seed in the NFC, runs into a buzzsaw in San Francisco. Skip, his defense couldn't get off the field. And they said, man, the man stepped off a cliff. There are probably 28 other quarterbacks that want to step off that cliff. Russell doesn't want to step off that cliff like that. My homeboy, Lamar Jackson. But it's hard for me to say. There are 5 other quarterbacks in the NFL that wouldn't want what Aaron Rodgers did last year.
Really?
He did you a favor, too. You need to heap praise on him because he saved you.
My turn?
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron Rodgers. I love you, man. You were so good to me. I needed you so badly to come through for me last night, and I was so happy for my man and my friend Lil Wayne because it was his birthday, and Aaron Rodgers went to Wayne's hometown, New Orleans, Louisiana, and gave Wayne the biggest, best birthday present possible. That huge Sunday night primetime win over the New Orleans Saints. Way to go, Aaron. All I know is Tampa Bay is now leading that division.
Short-lived.
You getting scared?
Short-lived.
Okay. Now, back to what actually happened in the football game. I thought Aaron Rodgers was outstanding. Again, without Devontae Adams, he threw some lasers. It was highly impressive. And yet, when I step back and look at it, both he and Drew Brees both had a QBR of 88, which is very good, scale of 0 to 100. But I thought Drew actually outplayed Aaron Rodgers because Drew slightly outplayed him by completing, look at this, 29 of 36 by Drew Brees. Is that good? That's 81%.
Yeah.
Does that work? And he threw for 288 yards, right? To 283 for Aaron Rodgers. So 5 more yards. And Aaron only completed, here we go again, only 66% of his chance.
Only 66.
21 of 32. Well, that in this league, that's not great. Not great. So what
about degree of difficulty? That's the term you like to use, the degree of difficulty in which he's completing those.
So this game turned on one play, and it wasn't Drew Brees' fault because he wasn't under center at this point. This game turned on a play in which Green Bay went for it on 4th down first. This is the first that led to the play, and they got stuffed. My little man, Aaron Jones, got stuffed.
Oh, really?
And first they marked it like a first down, and I said, well, that's wrong. I'll take it, but it's wrong, right? And they reviewed it, and all of a sudden it's Saints ball, and Drew Brees stands right up and hits Latavius Murray right over the middle for 7 yards. Now it's 2nd and 3 all the way down at the Green Bay 41-yard line. If we could see this play, all of a sudden I'm saying, wait a second, I didn't even notice Taysom Hill was in the game, and he's under center and tries to do a mesh point, option handoff, read handoff, and he loses the football and ball game. It turned there because it was 27-all, and if they just stormed down the field with Drew Brees throwing it here, there, and everywhere, I just don't think that Green Bay is going to win that game.
Okay.
That's just me. That was the turning point. And all of a sudden it goes the other way, and Aaron drives them to a field goal, and then they forced Drew to punt, and New Orleans lost all of its momentum. And here we go, boom, 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 and Aaron trick plays them. He gets them to jump off sides. He's great at that. He can trick play.
Tom does that all the time.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Not like this guy. This guy
of course, he's not good
lived on it. He has lived on it. And not only did he get them to jump, but then he gets Jackrabbit to foul in the end zone like crazy because he's like,
He's holding the guy's arms.
I don't even know what's happening down here, but I'm just going to hold his arm. And, of course, they declined the offsides, and they take it 1st and goal at the 1.
And then they got him again with pass interference in the end zone.
Okay, so here's my point. I'm going to read this one more time because I'm going to stand by this. Aaron Rodgers always gets off to hot starts, but this is from Pro Football Focus back June 8th of 2020, just back in June. They were evaluating last year's quarterbacks and looking ahead to ranking their top 50 for this year, top 50 players. And they concluded that Rodgers did not belong in the top 50 because they said Rodgers has become ever more evidently part of the problem in Green Bay, and his own team spent the offseason laying plans to minimize his role in 2020 and replace him beyond that. We know what happened with Jordan Love in the draft. Rodgers finished the regular season, this is last year's, the number 9 ranked QB in the league, but he was just 17th from week 8 onward. So it's a long season, and Aaron has often eroded over the second half of the season because last year he finished 18th in QBR and 21st in completion percentage. Well, for your sake, I hope he can sustain because he's off to a rip-roaring start.
Skip, but here's the thing, and you talk about this all the time. The same organizations make mistakes. Remember, that's the Chicago took Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes.
They did.
And how many organizations passed on Tom Brady? How many passed on Drew Brees? How many passed on Joe Montana? So all of a sudden, oh, they spent this, he's part of the problem. They spent this offseason taking Jordan Love. Okay. Well, he better turn out to be Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers turned out when they took him with Brett Favre on the roster. That's what he better be.
Yep.
And more times than not, what have we seen, Skip? We've seen that it doesn't work out like that. So they better be right. And you mentioned all those stats. He finished this in QBR and this in completion percentage. I know a guy that everybody touted as the GOAT that had worse stats than he did. But ain't none of my business. I don't even know why I brought that up.
The guy who's quietly lighting it up for Tampa Bay.
Quietly lighting it up. With them 2-yard, them 1-yard touchdowns. You kill Aaron Rodgers. Oh, he 1-yard touchdowns. How many he got?
How many did he throw for yesterday? How many yards? Tampa Bay.
290 something.
Like 300?
I get Skip.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna talk about this. Okay, but they're my Broncos. You know I love them, Skip. But we not good.
Yeah.
We not good.
Okay.
Oh, that's admitting something, Shannon. If you're really saying that you're just
not good.
not good. Well,
But Aaron Rodgers is great.
I can say the same about the Vikings.
Way to go, Aaron. Appreciate
Just
it.
not good.
Oh yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, good.
No mercy.
Well, the Cowboys had to come from behind for the second week in a row. Dallas trailed by as many as 15 in the second half against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. But Dak put on a show through the air, passing for 472 yards and 3 touchdowns, and regained the lead with 4 minutes to go. Seattle answered with their own touchdown, giving Dak just under 2 minutes to work with. The Cowboys got just outside the red zone, but Dak ended up throwing his second interception of the game, ending Dallas's hopes. Fox Sports NFL analyst Michael Vick joining us this morning. Michael, it is great to have you. Now, I want to start with you here. Did the Seahawks win this game, or did the Cowboys lose it?
It's a little bit of both. I think the Seahawks did what was necessary to win the game, and the Cowboys did what they did to lose the game. Now, first of all, both of these teams are playing in the same circumstances. Banged up secondaries, banged up offensive line. The biggest difference was Russell threw 5 touchdowns and I think made no picks. And, Dak threw 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and had a fumble. And there's your game. Shannon, you cannot turn the ball over in critical moments and give up that type of field position. It usually results in points that you have to make up, and it's hard to score in the NFL. And there were bright spots for Dallas. Yes, Dak threw for 450 yards. I thought the receiving corps showed up. I'm still looking for Zeke to step up in bigger moments. I think it's been tough with them trying to get him going, but certainly the Seattle Seahawks took advantage of a banged-up Dallas secondary, and Dallas took advantage of a banged-up Seahawks secondary. But in the end, it came down to the turnovers. As cliche as it is, this was the difference maker in this game. And one of these teams need to go sign Earl Thomas. I will say that.
Aha. Did you catch that last line?
I heard what he said.
Yeah.
But he won't
Thank
mention.
you.
But he won't mention that he picked the Cowboys, and I tried to talk him out of it on Friday. I said, Mike, don't do that.
You did.
I said, don't pick against Russ.
I was trying to keep that quiet.
Well, he thought Jerry was going to go get Earl Thomas.
He go get Aaron Thomas on Saturday or Sunday.
Who knows?
I think the Seahawks won this ball game because, as you mentioned, you look at it. Russ threw 5 touchdowns. He had another one. DK Metcalf had another touchdown. It was supposed to be 6 touchdowns, and the game wasn't supposed to be this close. You think about it. Yes, Dak threw 2 interceptions, but the Seattle defender's on the ground, Russ. Dak hits it between the numbers. It pops up, Gallup catches it, and it's starting to run down the field. So theoretically, he should have had 3 picks and a fumble. I think the thing is why they can't really use Zeke as effective as they need to is that they keep falling behind, Skip. You can't keep falling behind by 15, 16 points, falling behind by like they did against the Rams, and still be able to run the football. Those targets that Zeke had in the passing game, they should have been rush attempts. He should get 12 more rush attempts as opposed to 12 targets in the passing game.
Do you realize how many balls hit him in the face and he couldn't hold on?
He's still not
at least
not
3.
fluid.
He can catch the ball, but he's not like Kamara.
No.
He's not like Christian McCaffrey, just a naturally talented, gifted catcher. He's worked on it and gotten better, but he's not fluid at catching the ball like those guys. And so when you look at it, the Cowboys' defense still isn't very good. They don't consistently generate the pressure. I thought Russell Wilson, I thought his offensive line did a better job. And when Russ is a guy, Skip, if it's not there, he got hit one time, Skip. How he was able to hold on to the ball when the defensive guy hit him from the blind side, and even though it was holding on the defense, he still held on to the ball. That just goes to show you that he is conscious. And when that guy hit, the ball popped out. The Cowboys didn't lose this game. The Seahawks won this ball game with exemplary play by Russ and a timely, big-time... Skip, they only rushed 3 guys. On that last series, they rushed 3 guys. They had Shaquem Grant... I think his name, is that his name?
Griffin.
Griffin, yeah.
They had him scanning.
Yep.
So he's checking, okay, running back. I'm just going to follow Dak, see where he goes. And they got 2 sacks and a hit on Dak, rushing 3 against 5 on the Dallas offensive line. Seahawks won. Dallas didn't lose it. They lost, but they didn't lose it.
My Cowboys lost this game. All you need to know, the final score was 3-0 in reverse because my quarterback made 3 big blunders and gave them 3 footballs, and the first 2 resulted in short field touchdowns. And up there, if you give Russell Wilson 2 short fields and 2 gimme, 7 and 14 points, you're not going to be able to overcome it. And
had they had a 12th man, they'd have hung 55 on you.
They might have. I will buy that. But that's one reason I picked Dallas to win this game. The reason I have some hope and heart for my team is my team made Russell Wilson punt 7 times yesterday. How often does that happen up there? It's just hard to stop them. They punted 7 times, and yet my secondary had 3 huge breakdowns that would not have happened, I believe, if Earl Thomas had been a Cowboy yesterday back in his old stomping grounds. I'm talking about the first ball to Lockett when he's just home free. It's like, did anybody see the most dangerous deep threat maybe in football? Did anybody check him? No, they just let him go right through the zone, and he went untouched for 43 yards.
You do know
you can't do that.
That's what caused that blow up in Baltimore.
Okay.
Because Earl was blowing assignments left and right, doing his own thing.
Maybe he wouldn't have blown that one. And to your point on the DK Metcalf, it's 62 yards. He just smokes Trevon Diggs.
Yes.
And Diggs did not quit on the play.
Right.
And Metcalf learned a lesson. I think he will learn for the rest of his career because I don't think he'll ever do that again. And then Metcalf got free going all the way through the backside of the zone for 29 yards for the game winner. I just believe if you had Earl Thomas spoiling to get even with his old team, his original franchise back home in Seattle, that he would have made 2 or 3 big plays that would have turned that game, the tide in favor of Dallas. And as Dak said after the game, we just couldn't get out of our own way. Well, all they did was put up 522 yards, which is extraordinary. All they did was go 7 of 15 on 3rd down and 2 of 2 on 4th down. Those are the kind of numbers that win football games but you can't give it to them.
Right.
You can't give Russell gifts. How did they beat Atlanta? Dallas didn't turn it over. Neither did Atlanta. But the point was, Dallas didn't make mistakes like that in that game. And once again, they had the blunder on the goal line. Tony Pollard muffed the kickoff, and then they get a safety. Zeke just seemed out of it all day to me.
Mike, hold on. Mike, before you go, I'm going to make sure I'm hearing Skip Bayless right. Skip Bayless is telling me that you need Earl Thomas on a team that has Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Wilson as the offensive firepower. So, and you telling me you don't have, hold on. The guy that criticized LeBron James saying he needs more help wants Dak Prescott to get more help?
Wait, are we putting Dak and LeBron in the same sentence? Thank you.
How much weapon?
Well, that's some respect.
Hold on.
You need some deep.
What about D-Law? Is D-Law any good?
He's got a bad knee. They said he didn't practice all week. I don't know.
Well, tell him to put $100,000 in the shoe and walk properly.
Okay.
I mean, he got all that money, Mike. He got a bad. Okay, what about your linebacker, Smith? Jalen Smith. How you doing, Skip?
He's been a big disappointment.
So I'm just trying to figure, y'all got all these guys, just like Evans and Griffin.
And Leighton Vander Esch is just watching again because he's always hurt.
Yeah, what up, Vick?
But just like you got offense, you need some defense, baby.
You need defense.
You need some. You need
a made man in the back end.
Offense.
But you know,
they got Alden Smith. He's stepping up.
He is.
They just need a little bit more.
But you know, a lot of times, Mike, sometimes people spend their money on the defensive side of football, and sometimes they spend their money on the offensive side of the football. Now, I think the Cowboys have got their money spread out pretty good. They got D-Law. They got Jalen Smith. Vander Esch was a first-round draft pick. You know, they signed Everson Griffin. Although Alden Smith has been out of the league for 5 years, Tristan Hill is playing well. Woods is playing well. They got some guys that are playing well, Skip, but you can't turn it over.
You did not name Xavier Woods. You did not name Darian Thompson. They're both nice kids.
Yeah, they guys, Skip.
But they're just guys. and they're going to get run by. Yeah. And they're going to blow some coverages. And you're not good enough on the back end to be a factor, to be a contender.
And they say, okay, we're going to blow some coverages. We're going to get run by. So can Dak not turn it over? When y'all going to hold Dak accountable?
Well, I have.
Okay, hold on. Don't Dak, how many picks Dak got?
Well, you're the man who says, pay the man, right? That's all I hear. Pay the man.
And he going to get paid. It's at $41 million now.
Yesterday might be as tough as it's going to get for the Dallas Cowboys. They got... You know, they got the NFC East that they can be excited about in terms of competing. And next week they got to take care of the Cleveland Browns.
Shake and bake. I got on shake and bake.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett going to have about 4 sacks.
Good things, man. I expect him to do some really good things.
Let's go, Myles Garrett.
So
I was excited about yesterday.
So, Michael Vick, I got to ask you one other question. Can you explain the mentality of my quarterback, Dak Prescott, because he led the NFL last year in second-half passing yards, and it wasn't even close. And here we go again yesterday. He had a good first half, 181 yards passing, but in the second half, after he turned it over on the first play and they fell behind 30-15, here he comes and he throws for 291 in the second half. What is going on in the psyche? Why can't he start the engine a little sooner? It's almost like he has to be in hopeless mode before he gets great.
Yeah, I know that's not a good sign, Skip, and being honest. You can't fall behind and then the light goes off. Now you got to start making plays, and, you know, the plays that you may have been afraid to run in the first half, now you just throwing everything, you know, out there in the second half. It happens. It's real. I know that feeling because I've been there before, not in a, you know, extreme place, but to a point where, you know, I had some games where it didn't go well in the first half, and in the second half, we just let the offense go. And it seems like that's what's happening. It's a wake-up call, you know, at some point throughout the course of the game for Dak. And he needs to start a lot faster. And that's one thing we always talked about, getting off to a fast start, not falling behind to a huge deficit, because everything else after that is pretty much garbage time. You know, all the yards, you got to abandon the run game.
Yeah.
You got to abandon the run game, and then it just takes away from the game plan. So that's in part his fault, you know, for turning the ball over, putting the team in a compromising position.
Expectations. You see, you take a situation like Jimmy Butler. You look at Jimmy Butler's situation, homeless, making it to the NBA. Grant Hill made it to the NBA, but his situation is a lot different. The expectations were different. So Grant Hill making it with 2 parents, Dad playing in the NFL, going to Duke, versus Jimmy Butler being homeless, being on the streets, parents in and out of his life. That's a different situation. Dak Prescott falling behind by 15, there are no expectations. If he comes back, woo, then you see what Dak did. If he doesn't, well, no, Skip. The expectations at the beginning of the game. Look at him for the first 3 games when it's nip and tuck. Then look at him when the game gets out of hand and how he plays. Expectations, Skip. My guy can handle that. My homeboy, LeBron James.
Hey, but wait a second. You want Dak Prescott to be paid $40+ million?
He gonna get it.
Oh.
He gonna get it too. He gonna get it.
I don't know about that shit. I mean, look. I mean, obviously it's a long season and it's a long way to go, but I mean, some things are gonna have to change. Like,
ain't nothing gonna change because you know
different pace of play.
Yeah,
Mike, let me tell you why he gonna get $40+ million. Because Deshaun Watson just set the bar at $39 million. He ain't getting less than that. Now, you know how this thing worked. That's what got Dallas in trouble because they were trying to penny pinch him. It got him in trouble. And Stephen Jones said, Dak bet on himself, and it was a wise bet. He knows he's going to have to break bread with Dak to the tune of $40+ million. It's just a matter of, well, it can't happen this year, but this next offseason, it's going to happen, Skip. And I love it.
And with all that money, it's going to come a lot of expectations.
Even more.
About the same things over and over and over again. And we're not going to let up. We're not going to forget this. We're not going to forget this moment.
All eyes remain on Dak.
No mercy.
Cam Newton and the Patriots continue to look good running the ball through 3 weeks. New England put up 250 yards on the ground in a win against the Raiders yesterday. Cam finished with 162 yards through the air with a touchdown and an interception to go along with 27 rushing yards. Michael Vick is still with us. Mike, in your opinion, how impressive has Cam Newton been?
Cam has been very impressive, and I think yesterday put another stamp on, his short-lived career in New England so far. While the numbers don't wow you, just 160 in the air and 20-some yards rushing. It was somewhat pedestrian, but at the end of the day, he didn't do anything to lose the game. He did everything to win the game. So he didn't turn it over. He was good in key moments. He made some big runs at the right time. And, I looked at the Oakland Raiders as a team that was hot and was peaking. And I felt like this would be a big challenge for the New England Patriots, just like the game last week versus the Seattle Seahawks. And for them to pull this one out, this one was big. And, getting that win, it cements them as, AFC contenders. And, I'm very impressed with how Cam has just been so fluid with the offense and very comfortable in the schemes 3 weeks in a row. Not looking flustered, not looking frustrated, and look like he's having fun out there. And that's what it's supposed to be. That's what we expected from Cam, and I think it's rubbing off on his teammates. But I think the coolest thing about this game was that, it was the total team effort. I think defensively they played well. They shut down Derek Carr in the offense. Whatever they had over there, whatever they came to bring, it didn't work. So I think it was a balanced attack on both sides of the ball. They did what they needed to do, and they got away with a big win. And I think it'll be a confidence booster for them moving forward. But Cam was certainly the catalyst for this win.
I thought it was very impressive also, Mike. I think the thing is that we look how Cam is doing it, is that Cam is doing what is asked. There are some times that Cam is going to be relied on to rush for 3 touchdowns or maybe have almost 100 yards rushing. And then there will be games like Seattle where they're going to ask him to throw the ball 40+ times, and he's going to need to throw for almost 400 yards in order to get them, keep them in a ball game and potentially win them a ball game. So that's good. But it also goes to show you, Skip, is that when Cam, being who he is, Cam had carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to do on the football field. Now he's playing within a structured scheme, knowing that the turnovers, because of what they are defensively, they're not what they were the first half of last year defensively. So he can ill afford to put them in harm's way. And I thought he's done a great job of that. He had the one horrible interception, and I think Coach Belichick's gonna tell him, son, just throw it away. We'll punt the ball, we'll pin them down. We don't need to give teams short fields on our defense. And if we do that, we like our chances. But for him, the one thing we know about New England, Mike, is that they're chameleons. They don't go into the game and says, okay, this is what we do, we're going to do it. You can't stop the run, Vegas Raiders, We're going to run up and down the field on you. You can't stop the ball through the air, the Seattle Seahawks, we're going to throw the ball up and down the field on you. Coach Belichick has always done that. Even when he had Brady for those 20 years, Skip, you know, there have been times Brady would throw for 400. There have been times they would run for 250, 275. And that's what makes them so good. Coach Belichick knows if you go into a game and you say, this is what we do, this is what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, Coach Belichick says, I got an advantage of you because your unwillingness to change plays right into my hand. So I thought Cam was very impressive. He's doing a great job. He's not going to run it 15 times a game like he did in game 1. He's not going to throw it 40-plus times like he did in game 2. It's going to be a combination. Whatever Coach Belichick believes it takes to win, Cam is more than capable of doing it.
So, just me, I thought Cam was far more entertaining after the game than he was during the game because the truth was they didn't need him to do anything yesterday. He was kind of a non-factor. Yet, what did the great Shannon Sharpe tell me in our last segment and tell me all day? It's about expectations.
Yep.
Well, Cam's bar got set running the football in week 1 way up there and then throwing the football way up there in Seattle, threw for almost 400 yards. Well, yesterday was kind of quiet because they didn't need him. And to your point, Belichick doesn't care. Check your ego at the door because he doesn't care about stats.
Yeah.
So, Michael,
He don't care about anything. You saw that sweatshirt he came on camera with last week, Skip?
when his hair and his, he's old. He's Coach Subway, though, right?
Coach Belichick, Skip, he must be thought he was on a conference call. He doesn't realize on Zoom now they can actually see you. No conference call, you normally call in and talk to reporters.
Maybe
they can't see you.
Know, but he'll cut the sleeves off your suit coat, right?
He would.
That's what he did in the advertisement. So, Michael Vick. So, I'm watching Cam yesterday, and he runs 9 times for a grand total of 27 yards, which is 3 yards a carry. Not exactly Vick in Atlanta kind of numbers. But the Cam I was seeing yesterday, there were a couple of times I thought he had a little bit of a crease, and he just took he went low. He just slid. Because I think Coach Belichick is telling him, you just can't last doing that.
No.
So I don't think he wants him to do what he did in week 1. It was highly impressive. He just bulldozed the Dolphins and pretty much bulldozed the Seahawks until the last play of the game. Yeah. But the point is, and I think you would vouch for this, you really can't survive doing that. You need to let your running backs mostly run the football. Yep. And they had 250 yards rushing, obviously.
Yeah, I can guarantee you that Bill Belichick and Cam has had that conversation about putting his body in harm's way. Longevity in the NFL means you have to be able to sustain and you have to play smart. I was a victim of that, and Bill Belichick sits back and he watches Cam closely and he sees how much passion and emotion that he brings to the game. And, at some point you got to harness that. But with that passion and emotion, it can cause you to be reckless. So I think this is a time when Coach Belichick has stepped in and probably said, look, Cam, you just put a host on it, just calm it down a little bit, run when you need to, slide, protect yourself, and get down. And Cam, he understands firsthand that, because of the last 2 years of what he went through is because of the injuries that he sustained. And that was in part to putting his body in harm's way over the course of his, 8-9-year career up until that point. So now is the time where you start to be conscious and cognitive of, what you need to do to get through a 16-game season because you're no good on the sideline. Cam Newton on the sideline for the New England Patriots is no good.
Skip, you mentioned expectations, and we look at what he did in week 1 against the Dolphins where I think he ran for 3 touchdowns. We look at week 2, what he did against the Seattle Seahawks, passing for almost 400 yards. But what was the expectations coming into the season? Cam had very high expectations. He believed he could get back to being the Cam Newton of old, the MVP Cam. But what was everybody else's expectations? Man, can Cam stay healthy? He hadn't looked good since the first 4 or 5 games of 2018. Yep. So the bar was low. So I think Cam doing what he's doing now, they're 2-1. They could easily be 3-0. I think Cam is orchestrating this offense exactly how Josh McDaniels wanted him to, doing exactly what Coach Belichick wants him to do, is not put the ball in harm's way. Get what you can, get down, let's live to see another day. There are going to be times that we're going to ask you to put the ball into the air 30, 40 times and win ball games like that. And so I think as the season progresses, you'll see a better version of the Cam Newton that we're watching right now.
Yet I believe, you can go ahead, Michael.
No, I was going to say I can guarantee when Cam goes in on Wednesdays or Tuesdays, whenever he check in, you know, you got a guy like Josh McDaniels who understands Cam and what he does best. And I know what I felt in Philly when I was going in to meet with Coach Reed and Marty Morningwig. You just be excited about the game plan. You be excited about the weekend. You know, all that takes precedent as well in terms of winning and team morale. So I know Cam is experiencing that right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Skip.
So to me, going forward, if they can win 10, 12 games like this, they'll do it this way.
Yeah.
This is Coach Belichick's way. Run for 250.
Yes.
Play great defense, lock down defense, take away their weapon. Darren Waller was just lost yesterday.
Right.
Like, nope, you can't have him, and you're lost.
But if you're smart, Skip, what are you going to do? Says, okay, no, we're not going to let you run the ball. We're going to put the ball in Cam Newton's hand. We're going to see how much trust you have actually in Cam, Josh McDaniels, Coach Belichick. We're going to find out because we refuse to let you run this football today. And if you're going to win this game, Cam Newton's going to have to throw for 3+. And if he can do that, I'm going to walk to the center of the field, shake your hand, say, good game, I'll see you down the road.
Maybe we'll see that game at Kansas City next time.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to score points against, Skip, you'll have to score points against Kansas City now. You ain't winning no grinding out. That's not the way they play. They put too much pressure on you offensively. So your offense is going to have to put 25, 30 points on the board in order to keep pace with them.
Oh, yeah. The games like last week in Seattle where he had to throw from 300+, it's going to be about 4 or 5 more of those this season. So let's just get ready for it.
No mercy.
Sunday on Fox, it's a star-studded showdown in Big D as Baker Mayfield and the Browns take on Dak, Zeke, and the Cowboys. Or you may catch the Giants versus the Rams. Check your local listings for the game in your area or watch it on the Fox Sports app. So Tom Brady and the Buccaneers had no problem securing their second straight win yesterday against the Broncos. Brady was just shy of 300 passing yards and had 3 touchdowns in the 28-10 win on the road. And after the game, Brady still thinks there is room for improvement, saying, quote, by no means was this nearly close to what we're capable of. So, Shannon, I know this is always hard when it's against the Broncos, but please do give me an objective letter grade for Tom Brady.
Objective.
I gave him a C.
A C?
A C, Skip. Skip, the Broncos are bad. Skip, they had, at the start of the season, they had the youngest defense in the NFL at 25 years of age. They could lose both of their starting corners, so now they're starting 2 rookies. No Von Miller, so they generate no pass rush. They can get no coverage on the back end. And they're on their 3rd-string quarterback. Let that sink in, Skip. They're on their 3rd-string quarterback with 2 rookie corners. I mean, did I leave this game and say, man, Tom looked really good? I didn't leave this game thinking that, Skip. Second half, he only scored 3 points on a short drive, on a short field goal, 6 total first downs in the second half. So, Skip, look, they won the game, but I don't think anybody thought they were not going to win the ball game. And doing it against that team, there'll be other opportunities for Tom Brady to show that he is the Tom Brady of old. When they play Kansas City, when they play some of these upper top-tier teams, we'll see more about Tom Brady. But I didn't get anything from this game that I didn't already know. 28-10 against Broncos. I love them, but they're not very good, Skip. They're not very good.
Interesting. So, what has happened to Tom Brady over his career when he visits that stadium? Nothing good. Very little good.
Yeah. So, there's nothing remnants other than the stadium itself. Stop it, Skip. You ought to be ashamed.
Tom Brady was, going into yesterday, 4-7 in Denver. It's been his house of horrors. He just doesn't like throwing in the mile-high atmosphere.
Yeah.
He's often been wild high because it's hard to control your trajectory. It's hard to get used to, because you lived it, right? So yesterday, he had Chris Godwin for a little while. Then he didn't have him because Chris Godwin, without contact, pulled his hamstring. I don't know what it was. It did not look good to me because he sort of limped off and limped right to the locker room. So that's the best receiver on that team, and the one he had the most early season rapport with was gone fairly quickly in that game. So Tom Brady threw for almost 300 yards, which is still pretty good considering he had no run game to speak of. And by the way, Leonard Fournette, who is so comfortable with Tom Brady early on that he can criticize him for holding the ball too long, I wonder if Tom criticized him back because he carried it 7 times for a grand total of 15 yards, and he caught 2 balls for a grand total of 7 yards. Not very good, Leonard. You got to get better. And yet, Tom Brady made some big-time throws in this game. And what did I tell you the whole offseason? I said, you better watch Scotty Miller. Didn't I? And you laughed at me. And again, I was watching Scotty Miller yesterday when it was 3rd and 8. Tom backed up at his 27-yard line. Can we see the play, see what this throw looks like? This is Tom Brady to, it's little Scotty Miller. Is that a good throw? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, I don't know. Does that look like a home run?
Yeah.
Does it look like he threw it down the field? Huh, interesting. Rusher right in his face, and it's right on target. Way to go. That was 47 yards. And you gave him a C. I'm going to give him a B+ for his effort yesterday because it was at Mile High, and again, it's a place he just stinks.
Well, Skip, you know what? If they'd had Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, they'd had Talib and Chris Harris Jr., I would be, and they had Peyton Manning and Demaryius Thomas and all those guys on the other side, and he does that, I would have gave him an A. But, Skip, for your 3rd-string quarterback, that's what they're on in the Broncos. You're starting 2 rookie corners. You're talking about the guys that you just talked about in Dallas, about they're just guys. And Russell, and you gave him a B?
B+. Yeah.
Wow.
And furthermore, everybody talked all week about how Rob Gronkowski is a shell of himself, right?
Yes.
And who had the most targets yesterday for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Gronk.
Oh, wait a second. It was this guy named Gronkowski. He had 7 balls thrown to him. That's the most. He caught 6 for 48. He even caught a 10-yard pass, a double-digit yard pass, if we could see that from Tom Brady. So does that count? Does that qualify?
Skip, think about that, Skip. That's a flat route.
He was running.
Skip, that's a flat route. Skip, that's a flat route. That ain't down the field. That's a flat route.
It up, and that kind of looked Gronkish to me.
Skip.
Didn't that look Gronkish?
Skip, that's a flat route.
So they went in with the game plan of, let's reestablish Rob Gronkowski.
Because he said, well, I came to block. In other words, what he's saying, I did not come here just to block. I came here to catch passes. I came to join Tom because we have a great relationship, not in the running game, in the passing game, Skip. That's what he was saying. Oh, Gronk said, no, stop it. There's no tight end that's a receiving tight end, and that's what Gronk is. Yes, he can block, but ain't no tight end. Oh, yeah, all I want to do is block. George Kittle can block, but George Kittle got $15 million because he can catch passes. Travis Kelce makes money because he can catch passes. Zach Ertz, those guys, Waller, because they catch the ball. So if everybody listens, all Gronk wants to do is win, that sounds good. But that's his way of saying, I didn't come out of retirement for a year just to block.
Yep. So Tom Brady said, watch this.
Yes.
Rob Gronkowski said, watch this. And here they go. And all of a sudden, I can't believe it. They are leading the NFC South right now. Can you believe it at 2-1?
Skip, 3 games. So we're not even at the quarter pole yet. And so you're already crowning the winner. We're not even at the quarter pole.
I mean, somebody predicted they're going to win the South. Somebody over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to crown them?
And
in the words of
Saints
Denny,
are starting to look shakier and shakier.
In the words of Denny Green, rest his soul. If you want to crown them, crown them.
Yep.
But at the end of the year, they're going to be who we thought they were.
Really?
And guess what? The Saints ain't gonna let them off the hook.
8-8.
Don't y'all got to play Green Bay too? Don't y'all got to play Aaron Rodgers?
At home.
It don't matter. It don't matter. Home, road, gotcha. Gotcha.
I told you they had the worst opening day test imaginable. They got thrown to the Wolves in New Orleans.
Well,
no preseason.
Well, how good is New Orleans? Because they done called 2 L's now.
Yep.
So they got thrown to the Wolves, so how good are they?
Well, no preseason games, very little practice.
No, but here's the thing, Skip. Guess what? Guess who else didn't have any preseason game? The other 31 teams. And guess what? They had no OTAs and no minicamp. So that was not unique to Tampa. That's not unique to New Orleans. All the other teams were up under that same umbrella.
Tom Brady doesn't look washed up to me.
I know Aaron Rodgers looked good. Did he look good? I just want to know one thing. Has he looked as good as Aaron Rodgers? A simple yes or a simple no? I think that is
not yet. But he gets stronger as the year goes on.
No, he doesn't.
And Aaron Rodgers tends to fall off the cliff.
No, he doesn't. No. Coach Belichick said no. So let me ask you a question. Do you trust Pro Football Focus or do you trust Coach Belichick? Now, how many Super Bowls and how many AFC Championship games has Pro Football Focus gotten 2-1? And how many for Coach Bill, greatest coach in sports history?
All I know is I got 5 cases of Diet Dew that Tampa Bay will have a better record than Coach Subway.
What's the same record?
Coach Subway.
What's the record right now? What's the record? I just want to know what's the record right now.
2-1.
Okay,
versus
then.
2-1.
Okay.
And your schedule is going to get nothing but harder.
Yours gonna get harder too.
No, we got this.
Y'all got Green Bay. Y'all got Kansas City, just like we do.
Yep. Here we go.
Coach Subway and his acting it's just on point.
Yeah.
Really impressive from Coach Bill Belichick.
No mercy.
LeBron James is in his 17th NBA season and still strikes fear into his opponents. Paul Pierce said over the weekend that, quote, players today are scared of LeBron. My era is out of the league. We weren't afraid of LeBron, but these guys today, he strikes fear in these guys. I can see it. Huh, Shannon, does Pierce have a point?
Skip Pierce, Paul Pierce sounds ridiculous. Does Paul Pierce realize that when LeBron got into the league, he was 7 years older? Paul Pierce was 26 years of age. And the league has gotten younger. So while LeBron is 33, 34, 35, these guys are coming in, Skip, at 20, 21, 19, 20, 21. Zion is what, 20 years of age? So LeBron James is 15 years older than younger. Zion is 15 years younger than LeBron James. Paul Pierce, KG, even Kobe. Let that sink in, Skip. Kobe came in 96 at 18. LeBron James came in 03. So he's 7 years older than LeBron. So, of course, these grown men, of course you're not going to be afraid of a kid. It bothers Paul Pierce, Skip, it bothers Paul Pierce that LeBron James in year 17 is still this good. It bothers him. They're not afraid. LeBron James is just good. It's just like, Skip, you hear guys say, when they lined up next to Kobe, say, man, I was nervous. I was scared. That's Kobe. Or when I lined up next to Michael Jordan, man, that's Michael Jordan. Skip, you know that's greatness. Paul Pierce said, I wasn't afraid of him. He dropped 45, 15, and 5 in Game 6 in the Celtics and 31 and 12 in Game 7. You remember that closeout game, Skip?
Yep.
Against the Nets, they swept him. He dropped 49 on Paul Pierce's head. Now, Paul Pierce did outduel him in a Game 7. LeBron James had 45, but Pierce won. Here's Pierce starting lineup. KG, Ray Allen, Rondo, Kendrick Perkins. Here's LeBron James starting lineup. Delonte West, Ilgauskas, Ben Wallace, and Wally Zerbiak.
It's pretty good, actually.
Oh, really? Although, LeBron James in 2010, 38, 8, and 7 against Game 3 against the Celtics. 2011, 35, and 14 in Game 4. 33 in Game 5 to close out versus Boston. Skip, stop this. Paul, you got to let this go because this does not come off as being analytical. This comes off as being jealous. It comes off as being petty. Is that you're looking for every excuse you possibly can to minimize what he's doing. It's so, Paul, you had an unbelievable career. Nobody in the history of the NBA has gotten more mileage out of an NBA title than Paul Pierce. But, bruh,
that's not right.
Name a guy that's gotten more mileage. Because
mileage?
More mileage out of one title.
Was it a fluke?
Skip, I'm not saying it's a fluke. But to try to minimize LeBron at every turn, because here he is in year 17, because all they talk about, yeah, he won the final, but he lost. So now if he wins, and he wins a 4th title with his 3rd team, and Lord forbid if he's the finals MVP, Skip, we might not ever see these guys again. What are they going to show their face? Oh, Kawhi's the best player. This player's the best player. And every year, it's LeBron, first team All-NBA. LeBron in the MVP. He finishes 2nd again. Paul, this does not come off as being analytical. This does not come off as being you offering a critique of a man's game. It comes off as you being jealous. It comes off as you being petty.
Just for the record, Paul Pierce, when he was in Boston, was called the truth because he was the truth. And he was the best player on that very good team that won the championship in 2008. KG was really good. But
KG was Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, but this guy, when you needed a bucket, he got you a bucket. He was very difficult to stop. Ray Allen was one of the greatest clutch shooters ever. He made the greatest clutch shot ever, and Rondo was really good at what he did.
Oh, yeah, playoff Rondo. The young playoff Rondo.
But Paul Pierce was really, really good, a perennial all-star. So don't tell me he got mileage out of it. If he'd been the seventh man, you could say he got mileage.
Skip, did you just tell me everybody make the Hall of Fame in the NBA? Everybody goes to all-star games in the NBA?
In 2008, Paul Pierce in a Game 7 did outduel LeBron James. And if you look closely, I dare anybody to call up the play-by-play down the stretch of that game and see what LeBron couldn't do down the stretch because he disappeared.
Let me ask you a question. If LeBron, we flip rosters. So now LeBron is with KG and Paul Pierce is with Ilgauskas and Delonte.
I'm out. LeBron came into the league with Chosen One tattooed across his back.
Sports Illustrated gave him that name.
Well, he put it on his own back. So he adopted the powder toss pregame that some guy up in Chicago had made famous. LeBron announced, "I'm the new 23. Watch this."
Let me ask you a question. Since you talk about adopting stuff, did Paul Pierce adopt the name The Truth? Does he not go by that?
What do you mean adopted?
Does he call himself The Truth?
Truth before Paul Pierce?
Okay, hold on.
No.
With the Chosen One. The Chosen One. Sports Illustrated gave him that. Skip's kid, 15 years of age. He's 17. He's the next big thing. He's it. Did they lie? Did they lie? Is it a lie?
Here's why Paul Pierce will not let this go. Because he saw up close and personal, because he mostly guarded LeBron James in 2010. This was the Eastern Conference semifinal. And LeBron put on a show in Game 3 at Boston on a Friday night. I thought it was the greatest game LeBron ever played. You think it was that Game 6, which came down
Boston,
2012, I think it was. But in that series, LeBron put them ahead 2-1, and then he pulled his usual disappearing act. Games 4, 5, and 6, he shrank. And it got so bad that his owner eventually accused him of quitting in those 3 games. And it got so bad that a member of LeBron's inner circle told Stephen A. Smith at ESPN that LeBron had to be sedated for games 4, 5, and 6 because of a locker room issue. And I had to be sedated after that got reported because I'm not buying that one. I'm sorry, but it was a big story.
Paul Pierce left the court in a wheelchair. Really, Skip? Are we trying to minimize the man? In that game that you're talking about that you said LeBron melted down, he had 27, 19, and 10. Who would like to melt down like that?
Go look at the fourth quarter and tell me what happened.
Okay, but hold on. Let's look at the fourth quarter Saturday night. But you don't want to look at that.
This isn't about Paul Pierce being better than LeBron. It's about Paul seeing the vulnerability in LeBron under fire.
Skip, LeBron James got 645 or more points game against Paul Pierce. So was Paul Pierce not afraid? So why he keep doing it like this?
How do you explain what happened in games 4, 5, and 6?
Skip, you take one series. Skip, you took one series.
Okay, let's take 2011 NBA Finals because, trust me...
That wasn't Paul Pierce. Let's talk about Paul Pierce.
But the point was, Jason Kidd was not afraid of LeBron. Jason Terry was not afraid of LeBron James. Tyson Chandler was not afraid of LeBron James, and obviously Dirk Nowitzki was not afraid of LeBron James.
So in other words, so when he got swept, when Michael Jordan got swept, the Celtics weren't afraid of it.
We're talking about LeBron.
But see what you do, what you do.
I'm not doing anything.
I'm
telling you the facts.
What's the facts?
In 2011, we saw the all-time superstar meltdown.
Oh my goodness.
The chosen one became the frozen one.
Did Kawhi melt down? Did Kawhi melt down?
Why do we have to change the subject?
I'm just asking because you try to make it seem.
You can't defend it.
Because you make it seem.
And Paul Pierce knows what happened.
I just want to make sure. So LeBron James is
These are the all-time superstar meltdowns.
LeBron James is the only great player that hasn't come through in a finals moment.
Like that?
No, ain't no like that.
We've never seen that.
Ain't no like that. Yes or no? Is he the only one?
You're up 2-1. The chosen one is. He goes back to his hotel room and he starts making a list of "I told you so."
Because you know what, Skip?
I'm at the top. I think I'm talking.
Because that's what this is about.
Wait. I'm talking now.
This is about you.
Yeah.
Make it about you.
So the only way you can stop me is to talk over me, right?
Go ahead. It's about you. Go ahead.
You got no comeback here. I've backed you into a corner once again. It's indefensible what's on this man's resume. It was the all-time superstar meltdown. He's making a list back in his hotel room, reportedly by ESPN. Put me at the top of the list. I'm going to tell him so, and then him and him and him. And 4, 5, and 6, he froze up. I've never seen anything like it before.
Is 2020 on his resume?
Interesting.
Is 2020 on his resume?
What's your answer to 2011?
Yeah, exactly. 2011. We're talking about now.
What's your answer?
What's now?
I want to know what your answer is. What happened?
Exactly.
What happened in 2010 and 2011?
The same thing that happened in 85 and 86.
That's why Paul Pierce is saying nobody was afraid of him back then because there was nothing to be afraid of.
Exactly. But he put Paul Pierce butt out, made Paul Pierce leave Boston, made Paul Pierce leave, and Paul Pierce became a journeyman. So Paul Pierce wasn't afraid, but LeBron bashed his head every time.
So I think Paul Pierce knows there's one guy in the next series that will not be afraid of LeBron James.
Okay, and?
Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Not afraid.
So Jimmy Butler did
That's
something.
the one guy today not
Jimmy
afraid.
Butler did something that Paul Pierce couldn't do. Take a team, carry a team. Minus KG, minus Ray Allen. That's what Jimmy Butler did. Paul Pierce is jealous. There's no way around it. What about 2020? What about 2020?
Paul Pierce won a championship. What's he have to be jealous of?
LeBron James got 3.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. How many 3-time Finals MVPs have there been?
He's lost 6.
How many?
He's 3 and 6.
So how many times did Paul Pierce get there? So Paul Pierce is so great. So all these guys weren't afraid of him. None of them. So how many times he keep Paul Pierce from getting to the NBA Finals? Paul Pierce wasn't afraid, but he couldn't go to the NBA Finals through the East. But how many times, Skip?
Well, once he joined Dwayne and Chris Bosh and Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, yep.
Let me ask you a question.
You got it.
How many times did people mention Paul Pierce's name before KG and Ray Allen joined him?
Oh, a lot.
Stop it.
No.
Stop it.
Hey, you ought to go back. Look up what my friend Bob Ryan, the ultimate basketball guru in Boston, go back and look what he used to write about Paul Pierce. He'd never seen anything quite like him. This is Paul Pierce solo. Go look it up.
What was he doing
got
solo?
His nickname.
What was he doing solo?
The truth.
What was he doing solo?
He was the truth.
How many times did he get to the Eastern Conference Finals without KG and Ray Allen? How many times did he get to the finals? My guy had 22. Paul Pierce was 26 when LeBron got to the league.
Yep.
At 22, my guy was taking the team to the finals.
And he got swept.
He got swept. Your guy couldn't even get there. All I know is your guy at 22 was what, in his second year? My guy at 22 was taking the team to the finals. See, what you do, Skip, is that LeBron James loses, oh, he's weak. Everybody else loses, he's going against a historically great team. So I want to know, when it's all said and done, name the player that will be better that Michael Jordan beat in the finals than Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. That's what I want to know.
I don't really care because Michael Jordan went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs, and you can't beat him.
And got swept.
It's over.
And got swept in the first round. All I know is this is what I know. Michael Jordan never got out of the first round until he got Scottie Pippen. You can say Scottie Pippen is nothing, but until he got him, he never got out of the first round.
Top 50 player.
He's something.
Paul Pierce, thank you for speaking the truth.
And guess what?
The truth.
It was. And what did Draymond say? Draymond say, bruh, enjoy retirement. Let it go.
Yep.
You not going to get that what Kobe and Bron going to get. Let it go, Truth. Let it go. You had a great career. Let it go now.
Way to go.
You're 17.
We're done for now,
Did Paul make it 17 years?
No mercy.
The Cowboys were unable to complete a second straight comeback, dropping them to 1-2 and tying them for the division lead with Washington. The Eagles are still seeking their first win after they tied the Bengals 23-23 yesterday. Ties just feel so weird to me. Shannon, do you still give the Eagles a shot to win the NFC East?
I do give them a shot. Let me tell you why I give them a shot. Because that division is terrible. Skip, let's be all the way real. I mean, hey, the Cowboys in that division, you root for the Cowboys, the Eagles, I'm pulling for but that division is terrible. I don't know if and when the Giants are going to win a game. I don't know if and when the Washington will win another game. And as bad as the Eagles have played, they only have a game out of first place. About to be at the quarter pole. Can't play any worse. Skip, the play calling was horrible. Overtime, 1:43 left in the game. Minute 26 seconds. They get a first down. The Eagles got a first down at Cincinnati's 43. And what did Doug Peterson do, Skip? Call 3 very conservative plays and basically say, go out there and kick a 60-yard field goal for us to win it. So in other words, what that tells me and what that showed me, I ain't got no confidence in you, bro, because you're going to F this up. You're going to end up throwing a pick, and you're going to cost us this ball game.
And then after they got illegal motion, penalty, -5, they could have just thrown a Hail Mary.
Right.
Nope.
I don't even trust you to do that.
Yep.
So basically, and Carson Wentz is looking at he's saying one thing, but his actions saying that he doesn't believe in me. He has no trust in me. And I still believe that Peterson is doing a horrible job of putting him in situations. Now, Carson Wentz has played terrible. He's played terrible for the first 3 games, Skip. There's no way around it. He's played awful. I mean, he's throwing the ball. He has Miles Sanders runs a wheel route up the sideline. He throws the ball out of bounds. I'm like, well, give him a chance. Are you at least give him a chance to make a play for the ball? You throw it out of bounds. He's high. He's behind. He's playing terrible. And with all that being said, they're still only a half game out of first.
Well, they're a game and a half, right?
Yeah, half game.
Yeah.
They win a game. They don't worry about the tie. The tie is better than the L. Y'all got 2 of them.
The only way your Eagles are going to become a factor in this division if my man Jalen Hurts is elevated into the starting quarterback position. Dougie P shot that down this morning in Philadelphia, saying, nope, I'm sticking with Carson Wentz. Probably against his better judgment, because I think Jalen Hurts is 1 game away from getting a shot at winning the starting quarterback. The point is, the Carson Wentz I keep seeing is that same guy I told you I saw when he was a rookie, deer in headlights. Whatever poise he has, he loses it quickly, and then he loses his way. So my point is that my team is about to separate from your team, because my team...
You say that every year.
Okay, but look at what's about to happen. So my team has home games coming up. 3 straight home games against the Cleveland Browns.
Loss.
Win. New York Giants, big win.
Win.
And then Kyler on Monday night.
Loss.
Kyler on Monday night.
Loss.
It will be shaky, but it will be a big dub.
D. Hopkins going for 2 bills.
Okay? I got this. Your team, the Eagles, what's left of your Eagles, look at what they have to do. They have to go to San Francisco, then they go to Pittsburgh, and then they play Baltimore at home.
Oof.
Next 3. So I'll go 3-0. My 3, you'll go 0-3, and your 3, and you will be 4.5 games behind.
You're not going. First of all, you're not going 3-0. You're going 2-1. You're going 1-2.
I got this.
1-2.
And my point is, I like a lot of things I've seen from my team. I saw flashes yesterday in making Russell Wilson punt 7 times of Aldon Smith being a dominating pass rusher.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. In the process of making them punt 7 times, what did you do when you got the ball?
We coughed it up.
Exactly.
We made uncoached type penalties. We were not prepared to play. I mean, that scares me.
The only difference between Mike McCarthy right now, what I see, and your guy, Mike McCarthy has a Super Bowl ring, and Jason Garrett does not have one as a coach. So what's the difference?
You could argue. But I need my quarterback to step up and make $40 million a year plays. Back
to Wentz. Skip, he's played bad. Skip ain't nowhere. Skip, I can't put perfume on it. That's still a pig. I can dress it up, I blow the hair, get hairspray, put lipstick on it, hang some nice pearls around his neck. It's still a pig. So no matter what I say, no matter what he's done in the past, for the first 3 games this year, he's been terrible.
He's got Deshaun healthy, I think. Right?
I don't know what's going on.
Isn't Ertz still healthy? Seems like it.
He's not very good. The offensive line isn't very good. Defense the defense put a bunch of hits on Joe Burrow. That needs monitoring, Skip. He got sacked again 8 times.
Yep.
They're going to ruin this kid.
They will. I agree.
You can't.
Wrong place, wrong time.
No, you can't let your kid. You can't subject them to those kind of hits.
Yep.
But I don't know what's going on. It's gotten worse, Skip. From the moment they said with this, whatever the 33rd pick or the 34th pick in the 2nd round, we select Jalen Hurts, he's been in the tailspin. Walking to him, been in the tailspin.
Yep. Bounce it to him wins.
Your day coming. Your day coming Sunday. Woo. Old Shake and Bake got something for you.
Really?
Old Shake and Bake.
When you can't even put perfume on it, Shannon, this is not a good position to be in.
No mercy.
Reigning regular season MVP Lamar Jackson and the Ravens will host the reigning Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs tonight on Monday Night Football. Both teams are 2-0 on the season. So, Shannon, who you got? Who wins tonight?
Yeah, but these are my team that I picked to be in the AFC Championship game. But the team that has looked the best, both offensively, defensively, and special teams throughout the first 2 weeks of the season, has been the Baltimore Ravens.
That is correct.
I'm going to take them to win a close ball game. I'm going to say they win 30-29.
You picked the Chiefs to win it all.
I did.
I picked Baltimore to win it all.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
but you're just giving in tonight?
Yeah,
I
tonight.
thought it's my homeboy.
Yeah,
the
but not
best
tonight.
quarterback in the history of pro football.
But I'm going on L. Jack.
Well, are you just going Ravens because you got Ravens purple in you?
I'm going L. Jack. That's neither here nor there. Who you got?
Well, obviously, I'm sticking with my Super Bowl pick. I'm not going to give up on my team.
Oh, so you got to go at 16-0. So you're going to pick him every game throughout the year.
Well, this is a huge game for L. Jack.
Yes.
He's going to rise, and he's going to shine, and they are going to prove to be the better team with the better rushing attack and the better quarterback tonight. I think they're going to win this game. I got it 30-24 home team.
Yeah, but I saw some things last week, and a lot of that had to do with not expecting. They were expecting to see Tyrod Taylor, and they got Justin Herbert. So maybe that had something to do. But I saw some things that really concerned me with Kansas City's defense last week. And so they need to get that shored up. And so until I see it shored up, I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens to win this game on Monday night. And Lamar Jackson to say, okay, hold on just a second. Russ, hold on that MVP. I don't want that thing to get too far ahead of me.
I think it's L. Jack's night to say this is a rivalry because he's got to make it one. He's got to win his home game.
But don't sell my homeboy. Now, my homeboy ain't going nowhere now.
So now you're...
No, my homeboy ain't going nowhere now. He ain't going nowhere.
That is it for Undisputed. I cannot wait to break down that game tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Have a good day, guys.